This is our Rats with Team 45-45 League, analyzing the game between McKnights and Naki. This game was played in team event number 53 in the second round. Let's have a look. Okay, this is going to be a Caro-Kann, and it's going to be the exchange variation. And since the game ends kind of quickly, I have time to throw in a little bit of analysis of a different line that White might want to look at to meet the Caro-Kann, and Black, in turn, might want to be prepared for, just in case somebody is clever and decides they want to adopt my strategy. So it always pays to watch my videos. You never know what I'm going to show you. Okay, it was dubbed the Caro Queen by a friend of mine, and you'll see why. Knight c3, and now White can go back into mainline Caro-Kann with d4. Knight f3 is the line here, but the Caro Queen is christened by Queen f3, and the Queen comes out on the third move. And hence it's not the Caro-Kann, it's the Caro Queen. Okay, what's Black do? A lot of people will look at this and just play d4, and then they're in for a little surprise. White plays this excellent move, bishop c4, and Black could get a lost game in a hurry, and I'll show you. The natural thing would be to see, well, can we get away with taking the knight? Well, anytime you can take a piece, you've got to at least take a look. But in this case, no, Black can't get away with it. After queen takes f7 check, king e7, and d takes e3, you can spend all the time in the world you want analyzing this position, but Black is dead lost, and I won't waste any time on it. We'll just go back. What Black needs to do is play e6 here, but now what White has achieved is he shut the light squared bishop of Black's in, and that's normally a piece that normally gets developed with freedom. Bishop will go to f5 or g4 depending on the variation you're in, and suddenly Black doesn't have it developed, and he's got to get it into play much later. And the strategy now, more or less, White will play knight e2, and the queen may go to g3. If it doesn't, go somewhere else. You're going to put knights on g3 and f3, and maybe start a kingside attack. White has to be careful if he plays d3 at the wrong time. Bishop b4 check may cause White to lose his castling privilege because he can't take back on d2 with a knight. Eventually, once Black gets a little better developed, he's going to advance his queenside pawns, but White can keep the bishop safe. He can play a3 and drop the bishop back to a2 when the eventual pawn pushes come. That's basically some of the strategies of the Caro Queen in this variation. But like I say, Black doesn't have to be so cooperative. They're not always going to push d4 and let White have that fine move, bishop takes e4, or bishop c4. So they're going to take here. And White has... It's an equal game. Black should be fine here. Nothing wrong with just about any move that Black can come up with here within reason. Knight d7 is perfectly logical. White can't play bishop c4 because knight to e5, which not only secures f7, it forks the queen and the bishop, and Black's going to get the bishop pair and stave off White's premature attack. But White doesn't have to be cooperative himself. He can play a move like d4, but then Black will play something like knight gf6, and if White plays knight takes knight, check, knight takes knight, White has to stop and deal with the pawn on d4 or find a way to sacrifice it. Pure fantasy, and I don't recommend this move, is to play queen e2 here, and you're hoping for knight f6. Now White to play and do the best he can. Pause the video. Okay, you've started it. Did you find White's winning move? I hope so. Comes up a lot of variations of the Caro-Kann knight d6 mate, relying on a pin. Anyway, enough of the Caro Queen. Just wanted you to be aware of it. Again, a bonus for those that watch these videos, you get some new tricks to try. Okay, so we go into a exchange variation, and it doesn't follow the normal path, knight f3. And one thing about playing the exchange variation is White, and I use it myself if I know a player's a Caro-Kann player, is because it avoids a lot of the lines that Black's accustomed to playing in the Caro-Kann. But it's still an even game. But it gets Black out of what he's used to, but if black's prepared, and he should be, he will be ready to meet the exchange variation. So you're still having to play against an even game, maybe a little less drawish than some of the other variations of the Caro-Kann. But anyway, nothing wrong with knight f3, but black shall have no trouble equalizing, and that's exactly what black does here. And bishop g4 is perfectly logical. There's some ideas, not yet, but if bishop takes f3 undermining d4, well, it doesn't undermine it yet because there's a pin on that knight, but this theme's going to come up in a little bit. So bishop g4 is perfectly logical. And bishop g5 might be the wrong move here. I'm not entirely sure because I don't know if this is booked, and that's not important. And my first thought of black's move knight e4 was that was a mistake, simply because it's moving a piece twice, but on further examination it appears to be fine because it's threatening to take the bishop because the knight is pinned. So white has to deal with it. Either has to allow black to win the bishop pair and maybe get his pawns doubled too, queen c1, which is ugly, or move the bishop, and that's what white does. He moves the bishop, and in effect black has gotten a piece a little further up on the board and taken white off of one diagonal, but he's put him on another. Anyway, there'll be no pin of that knight on the h4 d8 diagonal. But my first instinct to play here with black is just logical, because I always look at developing moves first. E6. What e6 does is it just gets ready to put the bishop out. Bishop to e7 or d6, pick a square. Which one do you want? And then you're going to castle, and then you're almost completely developed. But knight e4 is fine because black just goes ahead and does it anyway, e6. And now white finds this move, which develops the queen. It breaks the pin. And this is a point where black played what I call an impulsive move. And I'll show you what it is in a moment. What black needs to do here is just continue his development. And there's two logical plans here. The first one is simply, they're both moving this bishop on f8. Bishop e7 or bishop d6, and I'll show you the reasons for both. The purpose of bishop e7, let's get bishop d6 out of the way first. And the purpose of bishop d6 is that, logically, black probably doesn't want to exchange dark squared bishops, simply because a lot of the black pawns are going on white squares, and he's going to be left with a light squared bishop. But in this case, this is a position where black can probably get away with it, simply because if white trades that and goes for that very small advantage of having a better bishop, black gets his pieces developed. Okay, so bishop takes. Now black's retaking with his queen. Okay, and that's fine for black because he's ready to castle and then put his rooks on new files and start figuring out a plan how to maintain equality here. Okay, and then white is going to have a hard time trying to find any kind of an advantage in the middle game here, and we'll have to try to steer for some kind of a ending where the bishop will be better than the other bishop, and that's not always going to be that easy. Or maybe a knight will be better than the bishop, and without two weaknesses in the black position and really no weaknesses, it's not going to be easy. But anyway, that's just a possible plan. The other idea is keep the dark squared bishop on the board. The idea being you want to keep as many pieces on the board as you can, simply for the fact that later, as the game develops, you might be able to use that extra piece to conduct your operations. So either move is fine and gives black an equal game, but as I said, black plays an impulsive move here, and it's going to get him in trouble. He plays bishop f5, and once again this violates the principle of moving a piece twice in the opening. Black got away with it once, but let's think about it. Why would black play a move like this? Okay, the first reason is the tactic. What's black threatening? Can you see it? Okay, pause the video. Okay, you've restarted the video. The threat that black has in this position is to play knight g3, which attacks the rook on f1, and there's a discovered attack on the queen on d3. Now this is a kind of move you can play in a 3-minute game or a 5-minute game, and sometimes you're going to get away with it and you're going to win material. But in a real slow down game, you're not. Your opponent's going to see it. Well, yeah, there'll be that one case out of 50 where he doesn't. You get an easy win. But you have to play logically in slow chess. You have to find good moves. And there was nothing wrong with either of those good moves that I showed you, bishop e7 or bishop d6. White has time to see this and defend this. And that's exactly what White does. Instead of falling for a trick, White takes his time and finds the best move. He finds a very good move, as a matter of fact. Okay, watch White's time, 44:08. Goes down to 36:24, so that's about 8.5, 9 minutes, because remember, he got back 45 seconds on the increment. And knight e5 is a great move. For the first point of it is black can no longer play knight g3 in this position. He can't do it because it just gives up the knight. The queen can run right over and take it. Knight from f3 to e5 cleared the file. So I mean the rank, and White can come right across. But the second point of knight e5 is now there's a threat on c6. White's threatening to win material here. What can black do? Well, one thing he can't do is develop his king bishop, which he could have done, and he could be castling on this move instead of having to stop and batten down the hatches and hold c6. Okay, so black plays rook c8, which is fine, but look, his bishop's still back where it started. It's not developed. Black isn't castled. As I said, he could have been castling on that move right there. Instead of playing rook c8, his 10th move could have been to castle. And White, once again, takes a little bit of time. He takes about 3 or 4 minutes, and he plays another good move. Rook e1. Now he's developed his rook. His rook is kind of developed when you castle, but now it's even better developed. And black just falls right into it here. It's not too late to play bishop e7. It's not. Okay? Black could do that, and he should be equal. But black plays a reckless move. He plays knight takes f2. Now what do you do with White here? Pause the video. Okay, you come back. Now what did you decide to do? Okay? If you move the queen anywhere out of the way, that bishop, the knight on f2, just runs back to e4, and black laughs at you. But instead, White has a combination here. And it's all tactics. It's all pure tactics. Do you see it? I think you probably saw it. Queen takes f5. Ouch. Black has to sting after seeing that. And if black doesn't take the queen, White just retreats the queen and remains a piece ahead. So black has to bite, and then White has this move. Check. And now black's queen's under attack. His knight on f2 is under attack, so he's got to save the knight on f2. The queen interposes, just gets taken off, and now White takes and black takes, and White is up a piece. Now the rest of it's pretty easy. c3, although an interesting move might be to try knight c3 here. It's kind of interesting. If black takes the knight, what happens? Do you see it? Pause the video. Okay, you restarted. Nice little one mover, so you don't have to look that deep. Okay, so let's back up. So but the problem with knight c3 is it just runs into bishop b4, and black comes out a little okay. But White just plays it. He's a piece ahead. He can take his time here. And then kind of interesting is bishop e5, hoping for f6, and then White has a nice move. Here, I'll show you. Or let you quiz you. What does White do? Pause the video. White's playing do the best he can. Okay, you've restarted. And the move is rook takes e4. And if black takes the rook, White takes on f6 check. And if black takes the bishop, White just takes back with the rook and has bagged another pawn. So White just played carefully, backed the bishop up. He's a piece ahead. He can afford this. And they just kind of move around a little bit. And White sees a new weakness on d5, and he starts going after that. And there's really nothing black can do here. And white just retreated the rook. And white offered another trade. White just up a clear piece, and black resigned. Well, very nice game by white. A nice way to punish an opening mistake or violating opening principles of moving the same piece twice. Naki, better luck next game. Next time, get yourself castled. And that goes for all of you. Development, development, development. Thanks everyone for their time. Take care.